Meanwhile, Uber Lyft IPOs facing new pressure to generate profits. Deke Digital Chairman Dave Maney says this could lead to higher fares for customers. Tell us it ain't so. You mean the party's over? I mean, we've been having a good time for a couple of years, but it's over?
Yeah, it is interesting, David. The two companies, Lyft and Uber, have raised about $20 billion in venture capital. And that $20 billion, one way to think of what's been happening is it's been subsidizing the cost of this experiment. In my opinion, it's quite possible that it's given us kind of a false read on demand. I mean, this is happening over and over in the internet world, of course, as venture capital goes and makes something cheaper to try to hasten the demand curve. But when the money runs out and going public is a good way to kind of, obviously they can access capital, but now they've got to report and they've got to be responsible. And you know, lots of people are looking at this and saying, yeah, the party could, in fact, be over.
How much will prices have to increase to at least get them to a break-even level?
Well, you know, it's like a lot of things. It's like looking at what would a cable channel have to pay when unbundling hits. A lot of things depend on a lot of things. And so if you imagine that pricing rushes in, and let's just say, you know, an analyst said in the Wall Street Journal this morning that they thought that these companies had more pricing power than people think. I'm not so sure. When you've taken it in as a lifestyle thing, that when the younger generation says, I'm not going to get my driver's license, as you've seen, I'm sure, is happening, that less and less kids are getting their licenses because, hey, I can easily and cheaply catch an Uber here. What happens when that stops happening, and how much does it affect the demand side?
Yeah.
So obviously, all of economics is supply and demand at some level. Nobody knows what the answer to the question
now,
is.
I don't want to hit you sideways with this. We hadn't expected to talk about this, but we just saw the Model S Tesla blowing up in Shanghai. That's obviously got to be a pushback to their expansion plans. Nevertheless, Elon Musk always thinking ahead. Here's the shot of this extraordinary explosion in China. But Tesla wants to now go into the self-driving business itself. And with all those problems that you just mentioned for Lyft and Uber, the timing doesn't seem right for that, does it?
This is a phenomenon. The self-driving phenomenon, the autonomous phenomenon is coming. The question is, at what pace and how does this artificial world of venture capital change it? I mean, I'm sure that if we were to, if you and I were sitting on set in 1912 and reporting on sort of the first horrific car accidents, we'd say, you know, this iron horse thing isn't going to be as big as we thought.
Don't be sure I wasn't around to report on that, but go ahead.
I think I was. But the phenomenon or the question is, back then, they did not have this giant bank of hungry venture capital trying to find returns.
Yeah.
And so they had to be much more based in reality and much more traction and much more real in their business desires. And so the question is not, is this technology important? Is it likely to come? Yes. The question is when, because as you know, David, being really early as an investor or entrepreneur is just as bad as being really late.
That's right. Timing has to be right. Timing is everything. Dave Maney, great to see you. Thank you very much.